Welcome to the A-Player Adventure Podcast. I'm your host, Suzette West. Welcome back, A-Players, to episode 18 of the A-Player Adventure Podcast. I'm your host, Suzette West. And in this A-Player Quick Bite, we will explore the 3 pillars of organizational coherence. But before we dive in, let me give you a little context on what organizational coherence is. Organizational coherence is the state in which all systems within an organization operate systematically and harmoniously toward an intended outcome that flows from the organization's vision and mission. When all systems within the organization are operating coherently, there is clarity of purpose and direction, and gaps in the system are identified and managed through a structured problem-solving process that ensures cross-functional alignment, stability, and forward-moving progress. Efforts are guided towards a clear vision that everyone sees, understands, and commits to, creating a collective field environment shaped by the emotional energy, attitudes, and behaviors of its individuals. The organizational field environment is accessible when leaders intentionally cultivate the conditions that regulate it, beginning with emotional self-regulation and extending that influence outward. Systemic transformation becomes possible when an organization has 3 key conditions in place: a clear vision, a well-structured roadmap, and leadership coherence at the helm to guide the effort in revitalizing the collective field environment in a mindful, intentional way, restoring stability, mutual trust and respect, and the ability to adapt with emotional intelligence to make critical pivots as new information emerges and becomes available. Every leader facing high turnover within an organization must understand that a clear vision, a well-designed roadmap, and the flexibility to adjust and pivot promptly are essential to creating structure, directional alignment, continuity, and adaptability. Without a clear vision, people do not understand what's going on. When the vision is unclear or purely aspirational and not grounded in a plan to achieve it, people will be unclear about their roles and the parts that they own within the plan. Without a roadmap, people will not understand the plan to achieve the vision. The vision becomes a narrative with no substance. At best, it becomes a meaningless, trite slogan that does nothing for the organization or its people. Without flexibility, the organization becomes unable to make timely decisions and adjustments under pressure. A clear vision, roadmap, and aligned leadership are essential to navigate uncertainty in the liminal space between where an organization has been and what it is becoming. But none of these elements work unless leadership coherence is guiding the effort. Leadership coherence is a state that enables leaders to maintain equanimity as they guide change initiatives. It is calm, grounded, emotionally steady, and able to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Leadership coherence is the force that makes vision believable, the roadmap actionable, and flexibility possible. The leadership's internal state shapes the organization's field environment and the resulting workplace culture, which people within the environment can sense. Leadership coherence reduces stress, communicates more clearly, and helps leaders offer the emotional stability and support employees need to stay engaged and fully resourced. This, however, does not mean that leadership takes responsibility for an individual employee's personal healing. It means that leadership takes responsibility for creating an environment that supports nervous system resourcing, especially in jobs that come with and require a heavy investment of emotional labor. This becomes especially important in high turnover job roles where the emotional labor is heavy and the average tenure is short. Emotional labor, the internal effort required to stay composed, compassionate, and patient under pressure, is not an individual flaw. It is a systemic issue created by the environment itself. When the system demands high emotional input without providing support for recovery and resourcing, people burn out quickly. This is why wellness perks fail. They do not change the conditions that drain people day after day. When leadership coherence is present and well attuned to the work environment, leaders have a greater capacity to identify friction points, design work standards that support the management of emotional labor, and trains frontline workers accordingly to stabilize retention. When employees feel that their leaders genuinely care for them, support them, and stand with them, everything changes. Trust grows, loyalty forms, people stay. But when leadership coherence is absent, when leaders are reactive, dysregulated, or disconnected from the environmental conditions impacting the workplace, people in high turnover job roles tend to choose their well-being over a paycheck, protecting themselves by disengaging or leaving the job altogether. The message here is simple and powerful. Retention is not improved by wellness perks, slogans, or programs that are disconnected from the realities of the workplace environment. It is created through intentional and mindful leadership that offers clarity of direction, a structured but flexible path forward, and a workplace where emotional labor is acknowledged, supported, and managed thoughtfully. With these three ingredients, a clear vision, roadmap, and leadership coherence, you have the blueprint for organizational coherence and the pathway to meaningful, lasting retention. Until next time, this is Suzette West, signing off. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the A-Player Adventure Podcast. If something stirred your heart or sparked a new insight, I would love to hear from you. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or share the episode with a fellow leader who's ready to build something real. Remember, personal coherence fuels leadership coherence, and that's what makes team coherence possible. Until next time, stay true, stay grounded, and keep leading with heart.